Hello, everyone out there in Rumble X and YouTube land. Welcome back to Diego Knows. I, of course, am Diego, and we're going to talk some more about Wicked. About Wicked, your movie, your musical. It's not a bad movie. I'm the first one to admit it. Okay, I know, weird coming from me, right? But it's not that bad. It's not great, but it's not that bad. There's some good stuff in here, and I'm very fair when I review these movies. I'm giving you a straight man's point of view, but at the same time, if it's good, it's good. All right, I'm not gonna tell you just because it's a chick flick that automatically means it's bad, and I'm gonna start looking for all the bad things in there. That's not true. That's not how I look at these things at all. I was pleasantly surprised by several movies that I reviewed. For example, Thelma and Louise. I'd never seen that movie before until 2 years ago when I reviewed it. And I was surprised by how good it was. I was like, okay, I get it. I get why women love this movie so much. I get it. It's a good movie. It's good. Nothing to do with it being a chick flick. So just because the movie's a chick flick doesn't automatically mean it's bad. Okay, but I do like to point out some of the inconsistencies in these movies. I mean, yes, guy movies have them as well. Okay, I'm not saying that male-centric movies are better. Okay, I'm not. Okay, what I'm saying is that there's certain things in these chick flicks that women go crazy for, and when you really break it down, it's so, not only is it so manufactured, it's so fake. It's not realistic to the way that men in particularly act. Okay, it's just not. Now I'm not saying that there's guy movies where women don't really act like women would act like in real life. Of course there are. Okay, but I think the best ones do it well. The best ones show that, okay? And you're just not getting that in a lot of these chick flicks, okay? They're just not, okay? And it sucks because, most women out there, I think, realize this. They realize that, okay, I know that the hot guy in this movie acted this way. I know he was okay with, the average looking girl cheating on him with a hot guy with ripped abs, but he still loves her anyway and he forgives her. He's gonna take her back, I know that most women know that if they were to do that in real life, it probably wouldn't work out that way like it did in the movie they're watching. But, at the same time, it's like, then why even make it? Why even put that in there when you know goddamn well it would never happen? Well, why make that such a point? Okay, for example, I reviewed, a couple years ago, The Notebook. Okay, it's one of the movies I reviewed on this channel. Okay, and for those of you who've seen it, okay, if you're watching this, you've probably seen The Notebook, okay? I absolutely hated that movie, okay? I hated it when I first saw it, like in 2001 or 2002, okay? And I hated it again when I watched it again to review it. But so many women love this movie, okay? So I broke it down, and there's two scenes in the movie which really just kind of highlighted my point, my problem with chick flicks, okay? The first one was where you've got Noah, right? It's the young Noah, Ryan Gosling, okay? And he's living, he's basically living secluded. He built a house, but his father that helped him build it died, so he's just living in this big, beautiful house all by himself, with nobody, because he can't get over the girl that dumped him years ago, okay? Or the girl that never returned his letters years ago. Okay, he's not moved on. He's still crying about her. He still feels this emptiness inside that your average or even above average piece of ass cannot fill. Okay. so just me saying that out loud. Okay. He's done nothing with his life. He just drinks himself to death in his house, playing with his abs. Okay. And then, well, it turns out that apparently he was screwing a lady. She's a widow, of course. Her husband died in World War II. Okay, this is because it's a period piece, okay? And she's been his steady, Wednesday night girl or something like that. I guess you could say they're boyfriend and girlfriend because she's definitely not seeing anybody else. And she definitely wants more than just, a fuck buddy. But he's just tormented. Can't commit. Oh, why? Because he's still crying over Rachel McAdams. Okay, her character, okay, and it's a load of crap. And then finally, well, of course, Rachel McAdams comes back. She hunts him down. She finds out where he is, and she fucks him. Day one, as soon as she sees him again, they have sex. Okay, now all this so far is pretty realistic, right? But then the next day, his girlfriend shows up. And who greets her at his door is his old flame, his old fuck buddy. Okay? She opens the door for his girlfriend. And she realized that this is the girl that he told her about. And they all have dinner together, and it's a very pleasant time, okay? Like everyone's acting like she didn't just fuck him last night. And she's not upset about it. She's okay. Hey, she's a good girl. She's cool. It's a cool chick. So the three of them just there having dinner together, you know? And then, of course, one of the chick has to leave, right? So who leaves? His girlfriend, okay? His current girlfriend. She's got to go because me and my ex, we got some more fucking to do, all right? But even though like the movie can't show it that way, even though realistically that's how it would go. That's definitely how men would look at this situation. Okay, but the movie's got to make it look like, let me talk to her. Look, I know that what we had is just that. She's like, when I see the way you look at her and the way she looks at you, even though you've been fucking her all night behind my back, I know that it gives me hope that maybe I could find that too. Like not only is she okay with it, she's happy that her boyfriend is fucking his old girl. Okay, I've been in this situation before, and let me tell you something, it doesn't go down this way. And I think you know that. I think all of you out there know that. That maybe it does every once in a while, but for the most part, this ain't the way it goes down. This isn't a realistic reaction to these circumstances, okay? And then the other issue here was when the fiance, because Rachel McAdams' character was cheating on her fiance to be with her ex, to fuck him, okay? So they're both cheating, okay? He tracks her down. He finds out that he lied to her, that she lied to him about where she was going, what she was doing. So he tracked her down. And of course, he finds out that she spent the night with her ex-boyfriend, and after he already invested all this money in the wedding, after they've been dating for years, after the family approved of him, he's rich, good looking, he's got everything going for him. He's a war hero too, on top of all that. And she tells him, hey, I'm sorry. It's just, I didn't mean for it to happen. And, he's basically like, hey, listen, I understand. These things happen. A lot of us, we still have lingering feelings for our first loves. It's okay, I get it. I know what you're going through. And I should be upset, but you know what? I love you enough that I can forgive you. And I still want us to get married. Because you're the one. Let me just tell you something here. If that was me, that's not the way it would have gone down. Not at all. Not at all. Okay? Not at all. But, it's a chick flick, right? So the regular rule, the rules that apply for us in the real world don't apply in the fake chick flick world, okay? They just don't. All right, so no. That's the problem I have with chick flicks. Okay, now lately in modern movies, everything for the past like 10 years or so, whenever they even delve, I don't know, most of it just goes to streaming now, but whenever movies delve in relationships, okay, usually the guy doesn't really act like a man. He acts like a soy boy. He acts like a man who is trying to act like an alpha man, but isn't. And everybody knows it except for him. You see what I mean? And that bothers me because that sends a message to men out there. And it bothers me because it sends a message to girls too. It tells them that this is acceptable. This is the kind of guy you want to be with. A guy who will just capitulate to whatever you want. And if you fuck him over, he'll forgive you for it, so it's okay. I mean, you can't let some man stop you from getting your orgasm, right? If he ain't getting it to you, you have every right to find it somewhere else. As long as he keeps paying your bills, right? You see what I mean? And that's the message being pushed. Okay, that and the boss bitch thing, of course. Don't be a mom. Don't be a housewife. Go get your career. You earn more money. Glass ceiling, break it, okay? Men have been in charge for too long. Women need to be in charge now. No kids, and if you get pregnant, get an abortion. You know what I mean? And this is what's being pushed, okay? And I think it's just such tremendous damage to men and women, okay? To both, okay? Especially if you're growing up, without a father figure or something, then you're getting, like me, you're gonna get your morality and your ideas about your future from fucking TV shows and movies, okay? And you don't want that. You don't want that, okay? That's the fake world. That's the fake world, okay? You don't want to you want to get it from the real world, okay? And that's the biggest problem I have with these chick flicks, okay? Now this one in particular, the one we're talking about here, Wicked. It's dealing with Elphaba, okay? It's dealing with the Wicked Witch of the West, who she's not really called that until later on in the movie, and it's just an appellation that was assigned to her. She's not wicked at all. She's actually a good person. I know, right? A gay guy wrote this, right? So, you got to humanize the villain, okay? They're not evil. They're just misunderstood because of the patriarchy, or the white people, or whatever it is, okay? You know what it is. You know the reason they're doing this, all right? And so as far as with Wicked goes, with Elphaba, okay, I'll give her credit as far as Cynthia Erivo's portrayal of her in this is actually pretty good. Okay, she's very humble. I mean, yeah, the trailers made it look like she's the sarcastic, fucking know-it-all, narcissist, boss bitch throughout the entire movie, because everyone is just kissing her ass in every scene. In the trailer, and all the characters are kissing her ass, whether it's Madame Morrible, or whether it's Galinda telling her how it's the wizard that should be afraid of you. She's like, I know. And then you see her get on the broom like, like she's got a chip on her shoulder, right? And then they show the wizard going like, shitting himself, and then you got Madame Morrible telling her when she floats up the coin and smashes the glass with it, she's like, oh, that's incredible. You're the best sorcerer I've ever seen in my entire life. You know what I mean? Everyone's just telling her how fucking great she is. Okay? I thought that's what we were going to get, and we didn't get that at all. So I'm actually proud of that. I'm actually happy about that. That Elphaba actually had humility. Okay, she knew she wasn't all that, and there would be no reason for her to think that she was. I mean, growing up the way that she did, okay, with a father that treated her like shit, no mom. Her father, praised everything onto her sister Nessa instead of her. I mean, she got all her love from a freaking bear, some fucking Build-A-Bear. Sorry, Dulcie Bear. Build-A-Bear. Dulcie Bear, okay? Some bear is the one that gave her affection. Okay, yes, a talking bear. Okay, gave Elphaba affection growing up. It wasn't her father. Okay, her father actually thinks that he is the biological father of Elphaba, despite the fact that he's a munchkin and Elphaba's normal sized, and that the mom was black, Melina, but she was a munchkin too. So, and Elphaba's normal sized and has green skin. Okay, so it makes no sense. But yet, her sister Nessa Rose, who in this movie is crippled. In the Broadway show, she's crippled, but in the book, she had no arms. Okay, she has normal skin, and her dad. And Frexbar thought that. Well, no, actually, he didn't. He didn't think that. Okay, and she had normal skin, but her dad was her biological father was a red-skinned guy named Turtleheart. Okay, so in both instances, their mom, because they both had the same mom. Two sisters had the same mom, but just different dads. The mom fucked around. But yeah, Frexbar apparently acts like he's oblivious to this or something. And honestly, I've never seen the Broadway shows, hence I've never seen this, how the movie plays out. Okay, like part 2 doesn't come out till next year. But I don't know if in the Broadway show, if Frexbar realizes that Elphaba's not his biological kid. Because if he did, I don't think he would mistreat her. I think he would have gotten rid of her. That's what I think, okay? He would have just, tossed her into the river or something, okay? Or have someone else adopt her or raise her, okay? But I think he had to take her on because he thinks that's his biological kid, all right? But I think in the book, Frexbar, that's the mayor of Munchkin Land. That's Elphaba's dad, okay? Um, Frexbar does know, however, he does know that that Nessa Rose is not his biological daughter. He does know that. Now I don't know if the movie is going to show that, or if the Broadway show explains that. But in the book, he did. It turns out one of the twists of the story is that it turns out that Frexbar knew the entire time that Anissa Rose was not his biological daughter. He knew that his wife Melina was fucking Turtleheart behind his back. He knew it. He knew it. And you know why he was okay with it? Do you know why he was okay with Turtleheart fucking his wife behind his back? You know why he was okay with it? Was because he was fucking him too! I'm not making that up. That's in the book. Frexbar, the mayor of Munchenland, was a closeted homosexual, which explains why the wife cheated. But he was also having an affair with Turtleheart behind his wife's back. Yes, that's in the book. I don't know if it's in the Broadway show or if it's going to be in the movie. And he, like Melina, his wife, was also in love with Turtleheart. Did I tell you that a gay guy wrote this book and also wrote the Broadway show? Yeah, two different gay guys. Gregory Maguire wrote the book in 1995. Okay, he also wrote 3 sequels: Son of the Witch in 2005, A Lion Among Us 2008, and Out of Oz in 2011. The guy that wrote the Broadway show, which this movie's based on, his name is Stephen Schwartz, and yes, he's gay too. Okay, and he wrote it in the 90s or in 99 or something like that, and then it premiered in 2001. Okay, is when the show premiered, the Broadway show, which this movie's based on. Okay, now they did make a lot of changes. Obviously, you can't fit a whole book into a 2.5 hour Broadway show, so they had to condense things, take out certain characters and stuff. That's why I don't know for sure if it's mentioned that Frexbar was a closeted homosexual and that he was also in love with the man that was fucking his wife behind his back. All right, we don't know. I don't know. Okay. Also, in the book Wicked, Elphaba does die at the end. Okay, Dorothy drenched her and she crumbled and she melted to nothing. Okay, but in the Broadway show, apparently she faked her death. She actually survived. Okay, and hooks up with the Scarecrow. I don't know if that's gonna be in the movie or not. But like I said, I've never seen the Broadway show, but I did read the book. I read it many years ago. Okay, so I kind of know a little bit about the book. All right, moving along to the movie here, where I left off last time. Everyone in Munchkinland is celebrating the death of the Wicked Witch of the West. Okay, they're all happy about it. They're singing that song. Okay, no one mourns the wicked. All right, all that shit's happening there. They even have a big straw wooden statue, you could call it. Okay, structure made to look like the Wicked Witch of the West. Okay, made of wood, and they burn it in effigy. Okay, so everyone's happy that Elphaba, the Wicked Witch of the West, is dead. And of course, Glinda there is there. Ariana Grande's character. She's there to partake in the festivities. To confirm to all the citizens that Elphaba, Wicked Witch, they don't call her Elphaba, the Wicked Witch of the West is dead. She's confirming it. She's dead. Okay, so like I said, everyone's happy about it. They even got posters showing Elphaba as evil, you know, with an evil look in her face, you know. So all that's going on here. Everyone's happy about that. Okay, the straw stick figure, yeah, they burn in effigy. Okay, and that has the whole, you know. So basically, there's an entire PR campaign devoted to hating Elphaba, the Wicked Witch of the West. All right, and Glinda is about to leave after she announced it. Okay, because the wizard has left Oz. She also drops the fact that the wizard is no longer in Oz. He just left. Now, this scene here, this is the opening scene. This takes place after the events of the Wizard of Oz. Okay, so Dorothy and her friends, okay, the Lion, the Tin Man, and the Scarecrow, and Toto, they've already killed Elphaba. They've got the broomstick. We actually see them walking back towards the Emerald City, okay, where they out the wizard, okay, as being a fake. He's really just an ordinary human from our world, okay, from Omaha, Nebraska, named Oscar Diggs. He's a con man. All right, that in the book Wizard of Oz, that's what his real name was. That's what he was. All right. But the wizard left. You remember the old 1938 Wizard of Oz movie? The wizard got in the balloon and was going to fly Dorothy back, but instead it took off without her, and he couldn't stop it. He said, "I don't know how to work this thing," so he flew off back home to the real world without Dorothy. So that's why Dorothy had to click her slippers together to get back home. Excuse me. So the wizard's gone. So there's no leader of Oz now. Okay, and Glinda points that out, that she's got to go back to the Emerald City and figure this thing out. Like, who's going to lead Oz now without the wizard there? Okay, so that's going on here. Okay, and before she leaves, a young girl calls her back. A Munchkin calls her back and says, "Wait a minute before you go." And she's like, "What?" With her wand and shit. She's like, she asked her, "Were you friends? Were you friends with the Wicked Witch of the West?" And of course, Glinda's like, "Yes, but I mean, I knew her. Our paths did cross, but that was a long time ago. That's when we were at school." Okay, so she kind of doesn't want to admit that she's a Trump supporter. I mean, got you with that, didn't I? She doesn't want to admit that she knew the Wicked Witch of the West, because obviously everyone hates her. Glinda knows the truth about her, but she ain't gonna tell them that, Probably for job security, she doesn't want anyone to know that she was actually friends with Elphaba. Okay, so she tells the story about how they met, and that's what leads us to the main story of the movie. Okay, so now we transition over to, now we have Glinda. She's younger now, even though she looks the exact same as she did in the past scene. She still looks 31 years old, Ariana Grande, with her, her chin was done, her nose was done, She's had plastic surgery. Back in her 20s, she had it, yeah. And she's dressed all in pink with fashionable clothes, all in pink. And she's on a gondola, basically. And she's arriving at Shiz University by river, I guess. Shiz University, yeah, it's Hogwarts 2.0, basically, okay? And actually, J.K. Rowling wrote Harry Potter before Gregory Maguire wrote this. So, if anything, J.K. Rowling should be suing somebody. All right. So Shiz, yes, that's the name, Shiz University. Okay, by gondola with all her luggage. Okay, and she blows off her parents there, to basically taking her to her first day of college. Okay, the university, right? Typical movie. Okay. All the cliches of the parents. "Oh God, my child is going to college. He's not my little kid anymore." That kind of thing. So we get all of that, but of course Glinda doesn't give two shits about her rich fucking parents that provided her with everything she ever wanted in life. She basically blows them off. Okay, so she can get to the university. Okay, and there we meet a nerdy guy named Bach. Okay, Bach is a Munchkin, even though he's like average height. Maybe 5'10" or something, right? Whatever. He's a ginger, got a big curly thing of red hair, which I guess is the style today with all you fucking kids. I don't know what the fuck. The 70s, I love the 70s, y'all know that, okay? But a lot of the 70s looks, the fashion, the hairstyles back then looked like shit. I don't know why. The fucking frizzy, curly hair, the fucking Welcome Back Kotter, the fucking, Willie Ames from 8 is Enough, okay? You know what I mean? Why that fucking made a comeback, because I thought it looked like shit even back then. I have no idea why that made a comeback, but apparently it's the fashion today for you fucking weirdo kids out there. All right, anyway, Bach, the Munchkin guy, he's a beta male. Obviously, he's a nerdy guy, ugly as fuck. And in real life, he is fucking Ariana Grande. In fact, he left his wife, who had just given birth to his child, he left his wife to be with Ariana Grande. And Ariana Grande, of course, left her husband to be with him too. I talked about that in the first video. All right, so his name's Ethan Slater. He's played by Ethan Slater. Okay, so Bach. Okay, so yes, a home wrecker in real life. Okay, so Glinda obviously is not attracted to this guy. Bach clearly likes her. Okay, and he says, "Hey, Miss Galinda, because her name is Galinda, not Glinda. Okay, Miss Galinda, I don't think we've met before. I don't think I've met you." And she says, "You know what, Mr. Bach, whatever your name is, strangers are just people I've never met. Bye." And she walks away. So she blows him off too. All right. Finally, we're introduced to adult Elphaba, who's supposed to be 18 years old, even though she's played by a 37-year-old Cynthia Erivo. Okay, and she's introduced wearing her combat boots and her grandma's gown, black gown. Okay, you know what I'm talking about, like the turn of the century gown that women used to wear, but all black. All right, and her combat boots. Okay, and Galinda, of course, starts singing. But everyone, because she's the popular girl, okay, she expects everyone to love her, and all of a sudden, everyone's attention is focused on the woman standing behind her. So Glinda turns around to see what this is, and it's Elphaba. And this is the scene that we see in the trailer. Okay, she looks over, she's like, oh, "You're green," and Elphaba, of course, being sarcastic, is like, "I am." Okay. I thought that was going to be the tone of the entire movie when I saw that in the trailer, that she's just going to be a sarcastic bitch the whole time, but she's not. Okay. And she actually goes into the speech and tells her, okay, let's just get this out of the way. I'm not seasick. I didn't grow up eating grass. Okay. And yes, I've always been green. All right. Okay. And I also noticed that many of the students are boys and girls. Okay. And they're all wearing half skirts and half pants, okay? So the other students in the background, they don't highlight this, but if you look at the characters in the background, you'll notice this, that all the students, men and women, okay, are all, not all of them, but most of them are wearing school uniforms that are, half of it is a skirt, and the other half is a pair of pants, okay? You'll notice that, okay? That's on purpose, okay? Just to remind you of the type of people and the political party that made this movie, okay? This is what they're trying to push, right? that it's okay to be neither, okay? Neither man, or you can be both at the same time, or whichever one suits your fancy, okay? Yeah, so that's definitely on purpose, okay? Just to tell you a little bit something about the people that made this movie. All right, but I did notice that, all right? So there's a message right there, okay? Now, Glinda tells Elphaba that she plans on majoring in sorcery, and she says this publicly in front of all the other students, okay? She plans on majoring in sorcery so that she can fix people like her, okay? In other words, implying there's something wrong with Elphaba for having green skin. Now, as far as the racism goes here, if you look at the crowd, okay, there's all mixes there, okay? The only race I don't see in this movie are the Latinos, like myself. Okay, we're not represented in this movie, but everyone else is black, Asian, white. They're all represented. Okay, the only people that are not represented in this movie are Mexicans and straight people. All right, so moving right along, Glinda tells her that she's going to try to fix her with her sorcery powers. Like there's something wrong with her. Okay, he's going to try to fix Elphaba's problem. Okay. And to this I say, you know what, just looking at this whole scene here, I'm telling myself, you know what, Hogwarts called and they want their fucking plot back. All right. And so Glinda tosses her hair, because she's a girly girl. Okay, and everyone applauds because she claimed that someday she will be able to fix Elphaba's skin color. All right. And we see clearly a gay Asian named Fanny, okay? Now, these are the lackeys, okay? We're introduced at this scene, we're introduced to Glinda's lackeys, okay? Galinda, she's not called Glinda yet. Galinda's lackeys, okay? One is a very homosexual Asian boy with glasses named Fanny. I'm not making that up. And the other one is a very overweight white girl named Shen Shen. Not making that up either. All right, and these become Galinda's lackeys, okay? They're basically follow her around everywhere. They do whatever she says. They give her positive affirmations. When she collapses, they pick her up and carry her wherever she wants to go. Okay, whenever she needs anyone to tell her how beautiful and perfect she is, they're right there to tell her. Whenever she makes fun of anybody, they're right there to bolster her insults to that same person. Okay, they always sit next to her everywhere she goes, that kind of thing, all right? These are her lackeys, her entourage, all right? Those are her cronies for the rest of the movie. In fact, for the rest of the movie, okay? We're introduced to them here, okay? Now, Elphaba corrects Glinda's grammar, okay? And because she says, like, I couldn't care less. And then Elphaba tells her, no, what you mean is you could care less. That kind of thing. And she corrects her grammar and points out that people are cheering, because everyone's clapping because, Glinda said, hey, I'm majoring in sorcery and someday I'll fix you. And then Elphaba says like, okay, so you're offering to help someone you don't even know with skills that you don't even have. Okay, that must seem pretty impressive around here. So obviously Elphaba's got some sass to her, which is kind of cool, I guess. She sticks up for herself a little bit at least. She doesn't stick up for herself when it comes to her father bossing her around. Okay, but she does stick up for herself when it comes to talking to other students or other people her own age. So that's a 1 point for her. Like I said, it'd be very easy to make us hate Elphaba if she had just come across as this fucking bitch, like, fuck you, I'm better than you are already, and she doesn't do that. She sticks up for herself, which is admirable. Okay, there's a fine line between, having self-confidence and being an arrogant prick. All right, so she kind of rides that line, okay? But the fact that everyone is basically looking at her like or treating her like she's got leprosy, and she really didn't stick up for herself at all during any of that until Glinda started acting like, oh, well, you're unfortunate, I can fix you. I'm better than you. Once that happened, then Elphaba started sticking up for herself, which is admirable. I actually appreciate that. I like that about her. All right, so there's that. Okay. Meanwhile, right after that scene, Frexbar, her dad, arrives pushing Nessarose. That's Elphaba's sister. Now, like I said before, Elphaba's sister has normal skin. She's half black, half white. Okay. Okay, so I guess in the movie, she really is Frexbar's daughter. But like I told you already, in the book, he was not her biological father. Okay, anyway, she pushes her in there, Nessarose, who's crippled. Okay, she's played by a pretty girl. What the hell is her name anyway? The girl that plays Nessarose her name's Marissa Bodie. Marissa Bodie plays Nessarose. And yes, in real life, she's fucking gay. Everyone in this movie is fucking gay, in case you didn't know. All right. So, Frexbar arrives pushing the wheelchair with Nessarose. So we're introduced to her now, and adult Nessarose. Okay, and he gives her mother's jewel shoes. Okay, which obviously are supposed to be the ruby red slippers. But for some reason, I think the ruby red slippers were invented for the 1939 Wizard of Oz movie. So L. Frank Baum did not create those at all, so he has no copyright on them. All right. In other words, they cannot be used in this movie. Okay, they cannot be used in this movie without permission from MGM or whoever owns MGM now. Okay, so so obviously they're not going to do that. So they have to use the original book, Wizard of Oz, which had the slippers being silver. There were silver slippers in the book, so there's silver in this. But Frexbar presents them to Nessarose. Here, these are your mom's slippers. They're for you. Okay, that kind of thing. Okay. So her mother's jewel shoes. That's what they call her jewel shoes. That's what they called it. Okay, and obviously he loves her. He loves Nessarose. He dotes on her. He kisses her forehead, all that kind of stuff, But he cannot stand his other daughter, Elphaba. All right. Now I will give credit here for Cynthia Erivo. Does a good job communicating her emotions in the scene. Okay, without speaking. Okay, a lot of you can see you can tell that she's frustrated and that she wishes she did have her father's love. You can tell that without her having to say anything. Okay, her facial expressions, point out everything you need to know about what her family situation is like. She also loves her sister Nessarose. She wishes her father would love her, but he doesn't. He mistreats her, and she just puts up with it. She doesn't talk back to him. She doesn't speak up against it. Okay, she accepts his authority. Okay, and because of that, because she's so submissive, it does make me want to feel sorry for her. It does make me have empathy for her character. All of a sudden now, I'm not confronted by some know-it-all fucking, ball-busting bitch. Instead, this is a woman who clearly has issues with her dad, who clearly wishes that she had some love and support. And I think all of us have felt that way, at least sometimes in our lives, okay, by people that matter to us. Okay, and clearly she has been neglected that. Okay, so no wonder she has low self-esteem. Okay, and that's kind of sad. It's sad. It makes me want to root for her. Okay. So, so that's going on here, okay? She's very good. Cynthia Erivo is very good. Clearly hurt that her father does not love her, okay? Now, Elphaba, it turns out, is not enrolled in the school. It is just Nessarose that's enrolled. That's why they're there, okay? And of course, nobody gives Nessarose shit that she's a cripple. Nobody makes fun of her for being crippled or anything like that. And in fact, Elphaba says oh, don't worry, this is just my sister, okay? And her skin's normal, so you have nothing to fear. That kind of thing, all right? And of course Nessarose tells Elphaba, hey, I'm gonna miss you now that I'm gonna say, and she's like, no, you're not. You're gonna have friends, you're gonna be reading books. This is exactly, the life that you need. And you can tell, like I said, Cynthia Erivo does a really good job communicating that she's kind of jealous, not in a bad way, but you could tell that she kind of wishes that she was sitting in that chair right now. That she wishes that she could get away from her dad, that she could have friends, that she could, spend the next several years studying books and reading, because this is the kind of life that her sisters have, the kind of life that she wishes she had had, that she could have. Even though despite she's older, it's her sister that's going to Shiz University, not Elphaba. That tells you a lot about what her dad thinks about her, all right? You'll have friends, you'll have books, that kind of thing, okay? And Nyssa tells her that she will still miss her, which is admirable. It's admirable. Okay, I'm going to stop my review right here, but I'll be back shortly to continue my review of Wicked. I thank you very much for watching this long, and I'll see you soon in the next one. Bye.